Italian job.
Man, I'm feeling good, Tommy boy. I'm starting to realize that every time we record these, that I have to make sure that I'm wearing a different shirt because it's always an F3 shirt or a Grow Ruck shirt. So today I'm supporting the Ragnar race.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Trying to mix it up a bit.
I would argue, too, that if either one of us moved our camera left or right, no more than 6 inches, we would see an F3 logo somewhere.
No question about it. There's Troubadour way over there. There's
F3
F3 on the other side. There's a patch wall right there. Yeah, we've got them. We've got them everywhere.
Yeah, if I wasn't so stationary, I'd show you my pile of laundry with no less than 37 F3 t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm glad scratch and sniff doesn't exist yet in the podcast space.
Smell-o-vision.
That's right.
What you got going on this week? As of recording, so the guys know today's Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day to all listening, and huge T-claps for those who made the big choice to serve our country. We honor you and we celebrate you.
Absolutely. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that we throw the word hero around quite frequently for things that don't make sense. Oh, you stood up for something. You're a hero. No, man. Heroes are people who put their own lives on the line to sacrifice for other people. A lot of times for people they'll never even meet. Yep. In my mind, every man and woman that has served this nation in any capacity is a hero, plain and simple. So I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you for that service, for all who have served. And we have more than the average. The average number of veterans in this country is below 10%. I would venture a guess that the average number of veterans in F3 Nation is probably north of 30, 40, maybe even 50%. We have quite a few veterans, and to rub elbows with these men makes me a better man. So thank you, veterans, for your service. Honored, as always, to spend time in the presence of heroes.
100%. 100%. We had a guy on his own accord put out a powerful message today. He himself is a veteran, but he called out by name all the guys in just F3, Greensboro, and Burlington, which is a big list of men who have served. So very, very motivational, very impactful, and incredibly meaningful, of course. So hats off. News of the Nation dropped today, but as I say that out loud, it probably wouldn't behoove us, since I know this episode is going to be right after the next News of the Nation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're not on the distribution list, go to f3nation.com. You can click on joining the newsletter and you'll have it. I'm interested in that hat that you're wearing. What's the patch on there today?
This was the OG GTE. I think it was the last one, Grow Ruck 17, which was our last partnership with Go Ruck.
Got it.
So Cadre DS and Cadre Shredder and Dread were our cadre. That was out in ENC area and in Pinehurst, rather. Yeah. If you're interested, you could go on YouTube and watch a pretty amazing documentary that was made by our own Tolkien.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. It gives me chills, but it
gives you chills because it was 30 degrees and windy and raining. So that you're probably remembering all that stuff. Hey, you mentioned Cadre DS, and we had a really good conversation several podcasts back with Cadre DS. It's no secret for those who know me. I am a big Carolina Panthers fan, and recently, Luke Kuechly, who was an all-pro linebacker for the Carolina Panthers and retired. Luke Kuechly ran through an obstacle course under the tutelage and guidance of Cadre DS. Mm-hmm. And when the Panthers put that out, I was like, dude, that's my favorite player. Holy cow, I know that guy. And it was just really cool to see the worlds combine. And you think about this, Luke Kuechly he's a young guy. I mean, he might be 30 at this point and still in tip-top shape. And it shows you how strong our servicemen are who run through these courses on a routine basis, that Luke Kuechly, NFL All-Pro Luke Kuechly, that's only been removed from the game for a couple years, he struggled. He struggled with this course. Now, with the guidance of the cadre who were there, he crushed it. But it's one of those things that just comes to show there's strength, and then there's F3 strength, and there's military strength, and there's a difference between muscles that look good in the gym and muscles that are required to do some hard things. So anyway,
Not to mention mental fortitude. If you guys are listening to this and you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend hopping on YouTube to the Go Ruck channel and watching the Go Ruck selection AAR with the cadre. And they speak at length about mental fortitude and what it takes to make it through selection, which you obviously can apply to a litany of things out in the real world as well, which is a nice segue to today's guest. We're talking about doing all sorts of hard things. We're talking about when the rest of the world says, not for me, we step up and say, well, then it's my turn. We're talking about the little engine that could. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest all the way from Katy, Texas. Vibram, welcome to the Stuff Worth Trying podcast. Name-a-rama, sir, and then how did you get the name Vibram?
All right. Well, thank you for that intro. Luis Mario Rodriguez, 44, Vibram.
Vibram.
How did I get it? It's kind of like a funny story. Let me summarize it as much as possible. So COVID hit and I lost everything, career-wise, right? I had to redo some stuff. So I was going through a big depression. So I wanted to get back into working out, and, I was slowly getting back to it. And then I saw the plate carrier coming out, like the best thing since sliced bread. So I bought me a plate carrier. It was pretty inexpensive or affordable. And then let me look at the plates. I never bought a plate before. All my Go Ruck events in the past were with 6 bricks, right? So never bought a plate, never thought the plate was needed. When I look at the prices, I was like, whoa, for a piece of plate, that's pretty expensive. So I made my own set of plates because the drawings are open source. After I made the set of plates, I'm like, I wonder what happens if I put this out there. I put it out there, boom. I was selling plates like crazy. So through there, the guys in Katy that did a lot of rucking, they saw me on Facebook and they started EHing me through Facebook. But they never said anything about F3. They were like, hey, you make plates and you've been rucking and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. So I showed up to the workout, 5 a.m., fully geared up, ready to do 20 miles. And so I showed up like this and everybody looks at me like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
They're rucking. Let's go. 5 a.m., 20 miles. Let's go. And they were like, no. We're going to do a workout here. And they introduced me to heavy drop training. And I was like, all right. So we did a heavy drop training. I loved it. It smoked me and I was loving it. And at the end, we did the circle of trust and everything, which I was like, whoa. What is this? What is this? What's going on here? And then they interviewed me. And then what happened was that throughout the whole thing, a lot of conversation and mumble chatting was happening, and it comes out that I have trained myself to be certified on certain areas of fitness, and one of them was on it, mace. So they were like, oh, we all have maces and we love it, and when are we gonna do it? And I'm like, yeah, we can do it anytime. But then it segued into the guy that created on it wearing the toe shoes on his videos. And
the Vibram toe shoes.
So I'm very outspoken, I guess, and frontal. And I was like, yeah, if you wear those shoes in public, you're a douchebag. and everybody started laughing, right? So I was like pretty serious about it. I was like, it was not a joke. I was like, dude, if you wear those outside of your setting, yoga, or whatever, you're a douchebag. So they all laugh at me, but then I took my shoes off and I was wearing Injinji toe socks. And of course, Tater.
Ah, yes.
Shout out to Tater. He was like, oh man, we're going to name you Vibram. And that's how Vibram came about. So I didn't like it very much, but I embraced it. So that's how Vibram happened.
Well, this may be the worst time to bring it up, but this week's sponsor of the podcast is Vibram Toe Shoes.
Vibram Toe Shoes. They get you where you need to go.
Well,
got an appointment at the douchery? We've got you covered. Vibram Toe Shoes.
Yeah.
Well, I dig it. I would have been, if I had been there and I saw you look sideways at the COT, I might have named you Kool-Aid. So it sounds like you got away with a really great one when it comes to Vibram. So
I mean,
I dig it. And I'm a diehard Yeah, well,
Crocs with
Crocs with
socks.
Yeah,
Would have been
that's
awesome
on my
too.
list. That's on my list. And I'm a diehard Injinji guy, man. Anytime somebody brings up, which is every 5 minutes on the Go Ruck channel, what's your footwear game?
Yep.
I am diehard Injinji with my mud gear socks over it and a pair of Ultra Temps, man, all day, every day.
Yeah, that's my combination is the liners with some new wool or merino wool, and then Ultra Olympus. I'm an Olympus guy.
Here's
I'm on the heavy side, so I need some cushion.
Here's my secret sauce. I have almost every color of the mud gear socks. I go with the pink socks just because I never know in the videos when they show up. I need to pick myself out of the crowd because we're all wearing black shirts and tan pants. I'm looking for my orange shoes and pink socks. So I rock some orange tennis shoes and I rock the pink mud gear socks. So in Katy, when we're under the log and working out, if you see some pink socks, chances are it's going to be Italian job rocking the pinkies.
I like it. We got to get you a pair of Italian flag socks or something.
That can be arranged. That can be arranged.
All right. Well, if you've been living under a rock for the past several months, then chances are you have missed the incredible growth that has happened in Katy. There was a massive promo video that dropped on your guys' 1-year anniversary. It felt like the middle battle scene of 300, where these dudes, literally 300 plus, come running around a corner, each guy carrying a flag, taking a football field, Warmerama, makes you want to run through a brick wall. I mean, all the elements are there. And my favorite element is just the passion in your guys' eyes. You know, at the same time, the New York Times article hit, talks about the entire thing. That's your promo video, not to say your promo video was lacking because it served a different purpose. Talked about all the other stuff, the deeper stuff of F3, which is the fellowship and the faith components. So that was well done. The nation blew up with inquiries about how do I get this into my area? You guys, for all intents and purposes, spending time with a couple of your guys at GTE in Hampton Roads at 32. Shout out to #Henry Cavill. That's the only name I'll ever call him. For all intents and purposes, you shouldn't be this big, and yet you are. And I know that in corporate America, whenever something works, everybody wants to copy it, like verbatim copy it. And what I love about the success of Katy is explosive growth, which is our topic today, explosive growth, is that there really isn't a blueprint for it other than it's following your heart, 24/7 EHing, and just having fun. But if I'm wrong, that's what I want to talk about today. If I'm right, I still want to talk about it too. You're the first FQ for your region, 30,000 foot view, as it were. Why do you think Katy has been blowing up the way that it's blowing up?
All right. Well, tough question, but I'm gonna give you my best stab at it. So the number one thing that has helped Katy grow is we document a lot of the things that work, and we want to share that document, which is live, to every AOQ to be, because we identify them quickly and we help them, go do a new AO. So like in numbers to date, we have 18 AOs in the area from east to west, north and south, that area that covers Katy. And we have about 3 OTBs going on right now. So we thought that the explosive growth was going to stop, but actually is steadily going. And the shared leadership team has put together a great blueprint in writing from the beginning, or when the growth started to be identified. Because look, when in 2020, when COVID hit, it was like 4 AOs only on Katy, right? And then when I got EH, it was the Spigot at the time. And the Spigot took a year OTB before it launched, okay? In that time, other OTBs and other AOs started to pop out and launch and everything. But when the Spigot did a launch, we had so much support from Houston, from Fort Bend regions. We had 120 packs on that launch. So on that date, 120 packs was unheard of. Like, oh, wow, that's huge. but it just gave like the momentum. Every other launch is trying to be 100 plus. I mean, this is like every AOQ started to take upon them. We have to be big. We have to follow the secret sauce, right? And basically, the shared leadership team put together a quadrant, right? Like it's focus. How are we going to focus to get this growth, to keep it being explosive and to be sustainable, and retention. Retention is the key word, because we don't just count when we name somebody. We have a battle buddy assigned that day, and we have a proud papa, and then we want them to create this triangle of trust to keep that person coming. Second serving, you know, and keep on coming, right? And keep on posting. So those 4 quadrants, I have them in front of me, so I don't know them by memory. I'm not that good. Retention, shield lock, operational excellence, and intentional leadership. So those 4 items of focus is what we as a region have been, you know, pounding and putting everybody through it, right? So AOQ, they have access to this. I mean, we have 36 AOQs going on, right? Between the AOQ and the co-AOQ. So it's a lot of people, right? So the first thing is those quadrants, have everybody focus on those and document what works. We document a lot. What works? What did not work? Best practices. Let's do this. Let's do that. So the most beautiful thing is, as we grew, or as we've been explosively growing, every AO and AOQ that has been identified brings something new to the table, a new idea, a new, you know, a fresh pair of eyes. And when they apply some of the things to EH people, I mean, you have OTVs already with 20 guys showing up.
Wow.
I mean, just for the OTV. And we're like, holy crap. I mean, this is already ready to be split, you know? And that's what's happened. I mean, most of this huge growth is from splits, because we have really trouble numbers from, you know, in the first couple of months from launching. One guy from Houston came and told me one day, like, you are the region that has a book for a book for a book, because we document, we create this, you know, this standard operating procedure, you know, and then we share it like, hey, this is a live document. These are the things that have worked for the other AOs. Take whatever you want. If you have something new that works, put it in there. But we already putting in here as well things that don't work that well. That way you implement already and have that experience share from the whole region. So it's gold. It's
Vibram, when you guys had that big convergence, and this was about a month or so ago, you had 300 plus guys, 350, 360, something like that, crazy number. The thing that I really enjoyed was it seemed that each AO had its own identity, had its own flag, had its own, like you said, AOQ, CoQ. These guys, it's not just the region of Katy, it's the region of Katy's separate locations, the Kingdom, the Garden of Pain, the Crux. You know, these guys have this identity. Have you noticed a little bit of trash talking between the guys? Because I've been on some calls where I've listened in, and there's some banter. There's some banter. We were the original gear. No, you weren't. We were the original gear. So is that part of the secret sauce? Kind of this identity? These are my guys, and I'm going to challenge your guys. Is that something that you guys do down there?
So from the beginning, and when this podcast goes out, I'm going to get a lot of crap from what I'm about to say. But when the spigot started, the spigot was going against the grain. Okay. And a lot of healthy competition started between some of the AOs, and the spigots, you know, had this reputation, right? So when all the other AOs started going, you know, the spigot was like, oh, them, there they come, the boys from the spigot, right? There is always that talk, right? But it created this healthy competition between all the AOs. And yes, there is a lot of trash talk in between them, but it's very healthy, right? You know, sometimes it could go a little bit further, and then we like, you know, hey, you know, bring it back to, you know, healthy competition. But the second F events and the CSOPs that have grown from the Katy region, it's the glue. I mean, the TIR, for example. TIR is a Texas Independence Relay. Katy, F3 has a lot of teams, you know, showing up from the region, right? But last year is when we had over 10 teams from F3, mostly Katy, right? And then we mixed up with some guys from Houston and Fort Bend, right? We discussed after the event that we had so much fun that we want to make that an official annual CSOP second F for the whole region. So now we surpassed the 12 teams for next year. This is this year. Next year, we're gonna probably have 200 guys on that. So much that TIR might do just a division for the best F3 team to win the whole thing. TIR is a 200-mile relay. It's broken into 3 or 6 mile segments, and then you have a team running overnight, 24 hours running. So it's awesome. And the second F from that this year was incredible. So that's part of the glue, is that competition, and we want to be the best here, we want to be the best there, and the identity is beautiful on every AO. Now, I was not happy about that before becoming first F, because in between the spigot, there's 2 AOs, and people that live very close to the spigot, they were going to the other AOs instead of the spigot. And I was very concerned about our own growth, not being AOQ, just being an F3 guy. Like, well, I mean, I want the spigot to grow as well. But I was really on a crossroads, not happy about that. But then the shared leadership team, I'm very close to, like Full House and Camo and all those guys, and they were like, look, it's a culture thing. If they might not like the spigot, they might like all the others too. Let them grow. It's the culture of the AO that you have to embrace. From that day, it changed on me, and I've seen the growth firsthand. So the culture of every one of those AOs is extremely important for the growth. And you have people that go to wherever they like, whatever they want. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm super stoked about what's coming.
We just had a competition ourselves. We have 2 Friday AOs. Well, we have more, but we have 2 Friday AOs that are very public in their disdain towards each other. Of course, it's all healthy competition. We all love each other. It's Lunatic Fringe and Uptown Funk. So all week long, there's been hype videos. There's been like covert operations, recording secret conversations on Twitter. It's been so much fun to watch. And it all culminated where we had between the 2 AOs, we had over, I think, almost 70 guys that posted on a Friday morning in the pouring rain. Of course, it was 65 degrees, but still just great, right? And guys do look at that online, the outward facing, and say, we shouldn't be doing this. We're bullying each other, so on and so forth. Obviously, there's some other things under the radar there that we could unpack all day, or we could look at how this is a bunch of guys who love each other and we're having fun, and it's creating a great hype that brings out all the guys, right? Yeah. So I'm all in for healthy competition, especially when later on today, all of us are getting together and breaking bread, right? So
yeah.
Who's got it better than we do?
Nobody.
Which leads me, I actually have a question here, right? So, which leads me to my question, because I've learned that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Katy, Texas, your AOs are set up a little bit differently. You have one AO throughout the week that's different workouts. Am I correct at that? Or walk us through what your AO setup is, and Katy, might be a better way to phrase it.
So we have a combination of AOs that are what I like to call traditional F3 boot camp, right? That no more than probably a Cindy is used as an implement. We have those on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays across the board. Some AOs are dual because they have a specific AOQ and CoQ as well to do sandbag and rucks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So the only AO right now, shout out to the Spillway. I hope your heads don't get too big. They chose Monday through Saturday as the Spillway. They have not divvied up into sandbag and bootcamp. They just like straight. But they do, okay, our Monday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be sandbag intensive. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday is going to be just the classical traditional bootcamp. So yes, and then we have one AO called the Crusade, which is an AO on Wednesdays mainly just for running. So if you're a runner, then you have that AO, right? Now that doesn't mean that we have other runners on Katy that get together on different dates. Yes, we have something called double downs, and some people are like, what is the double down? And well, double down is the workout before the workout. So most double downs happen between 4 and 5 a.m. And you have running and rucking double downs, right?
Yep.
Very important for the glute, because you get people like, hey, I want to work on my running. Well, we go and run at 4. So those groups, those cliques, it's a huge tribe, but we have all these clans, right? And the clans talk to each other, and the clans, work together. So yes, we have Monday through Sunday. Sunday we have something called a cop shop. It's just running or rucking early in the morning. So we have workouts for everybody at every day.
So I have a question, Viram. You mentioned, you've seen expansive growth. You've got a lot of guys in the region. What's a ballpark figure of how many guys are posting on a weekly basis in Katy, Texas?
Oh my God, that's a good number that I don't keep up with, but
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, we have Monday through Saturday, average 18 AOs at 20 people. That's the average.
So Tommy boy, let me give you a rundown on that. Katy, Texas is only 10.6 square miles.
Yep.
Small town that has 24,000 people, and everybody in Katy, Texas knows a guy who does F3.
Yeah.
And that guy's already told him, you should come out to F3 with me. So what I love about what you guys have is each region each one of your AOs has an identity, has its own flag and has its own logo. Yeah. But not only that, you have different flavors of workouts. If a guy says, I just want to run, he's got that option. If a guy just wants to do a boot, he's got that option. If he wants to be sandbag intensive and carry a ruck, you've got that option, which also means when a guy's getting involved and he says, I can't run, then he does what he can do. And eventually it gives guys the option to do whatever they want, or they can strictly be the boot camp guy or the run guy. But the options are there. And I think the variety is the spice of life. When you have those options for folks, it eliminates one of those excuses where, man, I can't carry 40 pounds on my back plus a 60-pound sandbag. I have soccer arms. I can't do that. Well, what do you like to do? I like to run. Well, there's a running AO. And so have you noticed that by having the options, you're able to offer it to a wide variety of men in your local community?
Yes, the not only the variety, but the cultural, the culture of every AO. And I want to slide in a third thing, which is keeping the standards or elevating the standards of every AO. Very important for us. We have an AO, the Tank. Shout out to the Tank. They have a bunch of guys that are triathletes. And we had some other triathletes and other AOs, right? So the Tank is leading that way for running and triathlons. And they have a separate chat, like, hey, let's do this, let's do Waco, let's do, and it's a beautiful thing, because if you're a triathlete in the past and you didn't have that clan, we have a clan for triathlons, and we have a clan for Spartan races, and we have a clan for this and that, for everything. So, and then setting the standard is very important for us. We are hammering the standard all the time. When you talk about the flags, when you talk about the logo, all of those things have been growing exponentially to set a high standard for every AO. Because we want, when you go to any AO to visit, you want it to feel the same. Maybe the culture is different, but you want to feel F3. So we have flags, we have a logo. When they are doing an OTB, the logo is on the works already.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they're already a step ahead. And,
so real quick, because you said it a couple of times, I want to make sure nobody's left behind. Define the acronym OTB.
Good point.
OTB is off the books.
Off the books. There you go, guys.
Yeah.
That's going to keep my inbox free for like a month. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Off the books area of operation, AO, right? So right now we have about 4 OTBs already posting. They're just, it's imminent, the growth, because it's all within Katy, right? And the other thing about standards is we have documented what we will like, as highly encouraging AOQs to follow a blueprint that we put together from the feedback of all AOs. We wrote a 13-page book that's the Standard Operation of Excellence. And until, you want to do a VQ, well, the minimum requirements, we encourage you to read Free to Lead, first thing. Then post X amount of times. Then now one AO took that and level it up. We're going to do dry rounds of the VQ. That way, when the VQ comes in, it is just a cue. It's like he has experience, right? So every AO has put their own mix on and setting that bar higher every time. We have a manual for launching. You follow all these, your launch is going to be successful, big, and we give it's accessible to all the AOs. And at the same time, we get other regions seeing this, like our sister regions, and they ask us questions, and we, hey, look, here's all the documents. Just have at it.
You guys are doing something that we saw work on the early phases of Greensboro when we were trying to look like more like our community, and we treated an AO launch as if it were a regional launch. We had that off the books, that OTB build up 4 weeks. We were specific in who we invited because we wanted men who were on fire for F3 to permeate throughout the FNG experience, right? Which is exactly what you're talking about. We also wanted to do that because it was imperative to us so that we would fail small in order to be successful on the grand scale. And we haven't looked back since doing that either. So I love that you guys, you've taken it to the next step, to the next step, to the next step by documenting it much better than we have. And that's what then you turn around and give it away to the next guy. So right. You have taken it and put it through the F3 metric. And I love that. I also love, and you and I talked about this, we don't have to get too deep into it, but I've had conversations with men across the F3 nation who, when pushed to grow, and we talk about things like ethnicity and different religions or different backgrounds, the pushback is always, we would love to do that, but and I always say, I'm named Tommy Boy because of my improv background. So when I hear but, my trigger is that everything you said before the word but you didn't actually mean, or you don't believe in, or you don't believe it's achievable. Right. We do want to do it. And Katy, Texas is an incredibly diverse area. So when I talk with guys who are kind of in the Miami region, right, they say, well, we're so diverse and it's just so different and divided. And the early morning, and all I hear is the peanuts, wah, 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 wah. Right. Because they can do it. They just haven't looked at a formula yet. And personally, that's why I was most excited to have you guys on, because after talking with Henry Cavill, #Seagal, I know that you guys have overcome that too. Rather than me say it, because you're our guest, tell us why you think you've been able to break through, or why you've been able to break through those walls. Or those perceived, let me be clear, those perceived walls. We build the walls in our mind. The walls do not actually.
Correct. So in Katy, we're all about breaking barrier of entry on any level. The secret there is disclaimers from the get-go. When you have a AO that is extremely competitive within themselves, they disclaim, the disclaimer on the top is like, we're gonna be super competitive on this beatdown. Maybe today is not the day for watch for the 6. Let's just put an example.
Sure.
Not like that, but there is a disclaimer of what to expect on there. And then we have pushed really hard for people not to push any kind of religious agenda. So the third F is faith, is not religion. Yep. Make that clear from the get-go, from the EHing perspective. And then when we do our COT and we do our prayer, then we ask permission. Like, hey, I'm the Q today, and I'm Christian, so I'm gonna do a Christian prayer with your permission. And regardless of who's there, that's a disclaimer already saying asking for permission to pray, a Christian prayer. So being very clear from the get-go and emphasizing those things has helped us tremendously, because we do have, Southeast Asians a lot. We have Latin Americans. I mean, Katy, it's nicknamed Katy-Suela from all the Venezuelans that live here. So we have EH Venezuelans, we have EH Mexicans. I mean, you name it. We have a melting pot in Katy, and we're very clear about it. This is not a religious organization. This is we want to take care of you, and just come and try it. And it's open to all men. So I mean, we're very, very specific about that. It's open to all men. We don't care.
Yeah. So I've got a question, and we're going to maybe pivot away from the growth, because what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. And that's one of the reasons we're so excited. But on a personal note, I'm pretty stoked for what's going on in December. I'm pretty stoked for those who are watching on our YouTube channel. You can see the Crucible logo in the background. Vibram, slide your head to the side so the guys can see the full deal. That is badass. So Vibram, tell us about what's going on, the dates, GTE 34, some of the details, give us a little flavor of what's going on down there in Texas in December.
So December 9th, 10th, and 11th, we have GTE 34. We're very blessed to have this opportunity in the middle of this explosive growth. We're lining up to be a big event. So we're trying to make the Kingmaker as the convergence that you guys saw, the annual convergence for Katy. So we're trying to get 300, 350, 400 people on the Kingmaker only. Then we have the Growth School, which is 3 hour. We're going through all the Q source, and we're trying to get there 400 people as well. And we're going to stream it worldwide. So it's going to be streamed, the class, for our brothers probably in England and in Africa that don't have access to this information, right? And then after that, we have an official impact ruck phase following that. And then we have our GTE overnight as well, or the Grow Ruck training exercise that is going to be overnight. So very excited. We have to date over 200 people signed up. The overnight is looking like we have 126 particular just for the overnight to date. And we're a month out by the moment we're recording this. So I'm extremely excited. We have the first training academy as well. We have 12 candidates on the trainer academy. It's going to happen all Friday. And this is to prepare PAX to be able to deliver the Growth School and help that team grow and go places, to anywhere there's going to be a GTE or a Growth School, for them to be part of the staff to teach it.
Yeah, because if anybody needs help growing, it's Katy, Texas, right? So, thank God this is actually going to happen. No, I love it. And I'll give it right back to you, Ajay. Massive amounts of FOMO that I'm not able to be there. And there's no excuse, because it's not an excuse. I have other things I need to attend to that are just more important. But I just said, but I do have other things that are more important that I'm attending to. And I will be shouting out you guys as much as I can, tuning into the live feeds, cheering on my boy Italian Job, cheering on Vibram and all the things that you guys have planned for these men, only because I've been blessed to be a part of 4 others and watching countless dudes be unshackled and move forward and literally change their community for the better and for the many, which is my favorite part. So hats off to you. IJ, right back, man.
I just want to know, how do guys sign up? If guys want to sign up and they think I'm ready, which first off, if you're thinking you're ready, you're ready. You're ready. This is going to be something that you're going to want to get involved with. But how do guys sign up? Is it too late to sign up? Is the day before too late to sign up? What's the details? How does a guy find out more about GT 34 and what's entailed, and how do they get involved? What are the details?
So we have I think we move away from the original Grow Ruck website to a new administrative system that is going to do the whole sign up process, right? But sign up process through a website. We can share the link, I guess, somehow on the podcast.
Yep.
I guess click on the link below, kind of thing.
There you go. Smash that like button.
Yeah, exactly. Follow us, and so we'll share the link. It's not too late. We're 30 days out from the moment we're recording this, so you can sign up the day of. I mean, if you decide the day of to sign up and the sign up goes through, you show us a phone and boom, let's go. So we're not capping it. We're not, as you can see, so far we haven't capped it yet. And we have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to sign up anytime. I want to share the phrase that we have been using to get people to sign up locally. and hopefully from out of town. And is, if you do not have a non-repeatable moment on that weekend, you should come. And then this is coming from our new Nantan Talladega. Like, if you do not have a non-repeatable moment, like a graduation of a kid, like an anniversary celebration or a wedding or something that is non-repeatable, then okay, that's a good excuse. But if you're gonna be on the area and you have that weekend available, come and participate at any level. We want you at Grove School. We want you at the Kingmaker. We want you at the rally on Friday night. I forgot to say, Friday night we have a rally, second F event to get everybody to know each other a little bit more. You know, participate at any level, and you're gonna get something out of it that it's gonna help you accelerate.
I dig it, man. I dig it.
It's going to be, and you said it perfectly. If you have a non-repeatable event, for those who are listening right now, it is, if you listen to the day this dropped, it is 2 days after Thanksgiving. You might be looking down at your waistline thinking, these pants used to fit, and now they don't fit again, right? Because you got in shape, you got in F3 shape, and then maybe you let slip a little bit and you just hork down your own weight in turkey, or whatever it is. You can still sign up. The link is in the notes. If you're wondering if you can do it, the answer is yes, like Italian Job did. If your mind is asking, your body is just waiting to be drugged through it. IJ, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, let's do this. Vibram, can't thank you enough for coming on. A huge bucket of information that you brought with you, and that's invaluable information. I know guys are going to be looking. By now, when this drops, the stuffworthtrying.com website will have a refresh. I've been working with Camo. These documents are accessible in stuffworthtrying.com. You could simply search Katy, Texas, because we will be giving credit from the region. So if you don't even know what you're looking for, you can find it by searching the region in the search bar. So that's all there. If you're like, holy cow, what's this OTB thing and how do I do it as right as Katy, Texas did? It's in there. So do that. So yeah, Vibram, thanks for hopping on. We kind of did this by the seat of our pants, so to speak. And these are our favorite ones because it's off the cuff and that's where you get right down to the nitty gritty of it all. Do you have any final thoughts before I jump into mine? And I want to hear what IJ's thinking as well.
My final thoughts is something that I like to say to everybody. And it is that you're not alone, and we don't leave any man behind, and we don't leave anybody where we find it. And we help you slap that inner bitch day in and day out. So all you have to do is, you know, give us a chance, come over. You cannot go through life alone with all the burdens that we have. We are here to help. So just show up to any F3 anywhere. You know, we're gonna take care of you. We got your six, is what we like to say in Katy.
That's right.
That's it. 100%. There is a poem that has crossed my radar. There's a line from it I'm going to share. I'm not going to read a whole poem to you guys. In fact, I don't even need to read what I'm going to read, because every time I read this poem, there's a different moment that jumps out at me. But it's If by Rudyard Kipling. And it's the final lines of this poem. And if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of distance run, then yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Those are my final thoughts. IJ, over to you, and I'll shut us down.
Listen, guys, I've been a part of F3 for over 10 years. What I've enjoyed more than anything is getting to know other men and living life beside those men. Someone who cares enough to call out my bad form if there is some. Someone who will care enough to call me after a workout and say something didn't seem right. Are you okay? Or a text, or even a meme. I've never had friends quite like the men in F3. I've never felt included quite like I do. I know that I can post anywhere in the world, and if I just say, hey, I'm one of you, I know I'm one of them, regardless of language barriers, religious beliefs, income. It doesn't matter. When you're here, you are one of us. And to hear the things that are coming out of Katy, Texas are so encouraging. Some regions like to keep it really loose and say, hey guys, this is just a group of guys, we get together. And guess what? It works. Some guys have a little bit more structure and SOPs and guidelines. And guess what? It works. The fact and the secret sauce of all of this is showing up. And it's just being there, being present, and being loved by the men that are around you. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter anything. In the moment, you are one of us. And guess what? During the workout, before the workout, after the workout, you're one of us and you're included. So always encouraged. The things coming out of Katy, Texas just encouraged me 10 years in to think, man, that's a great idea. Maybe we can do that back at home. So Byram, thank you for sharing with us. I'm stoked about heading down to Katy in a matter of days to join you guys, to see it in person. And Tommy Boy, I'm telling you right now, when my hair is standing up in my arms from goosebumps, from experiencing the energy in Katy, Texas, I'm going to send you a text and say, hey, I know you got some FOMO. I love you, brother, but it's legit. It's magic down here. So
and my text back will be like, you're not supposed to have your phone on you, jackwad.
Good point. Point well taken. And it will be recorded. We'll have some guys on the ground walking through Facebook Live stuff. So if I'm not doing it, Tommy Boy, I'll find the guy and be like, hey, Tommy Boy, I know you're watching. I don't have my phone with me, but these guys do. And it's awesome. So.
Well, you will be missed. I'll be cheering for you guys. I also would be remiss if I didn't say that I expect big things from the guys who are covering the GTE on Facebook, because you got to rise to beauty, and YHC's performance, and not trying to brag, but we did fire cached rounds from a tank over the Atlantic Ocean. So that may or may not be true at all. Fellas, listen, I love you guys. It is Friday. It is 11 a.m. on the East Coast. Vibram, it's been an honor to get to meet you. I can't wait to give you a hug in person one of these days. Italian Job, love you as well. Always good to chop it up. Podpaxers out there, be good, or for the love of something, be good at it.